This
Hi
is
guys,
Ikue
my
Ikue
name is
updates.
Jackie.
Kama mbaya
I am
mbaya.
the Jackie that everybody's talking about regarding this Kubende situation, and I really thought that it's about time I actually came out and commented on this. I'm only going to talk about this once. I will not talk about it, and hopefully this will put everything to test. I will first talk about the way I met Kubende. I met Kubende in December. I had gone to an uncle's place. I had gone to attend a funeral about something that had happened. About something that happened. Sorry, there's a message coming in from work. Sorry, I had met Kubende. And when I met Kubende, during the conversation, I was also recruiting international nurses. And Kubende did mention to me that he had a sister and he was going to call me later to see how we can process the sister coming. I was open to it. Kubende came to my house. When he came to my house, we talked about it. The next 2 visits came from his sister. He came with his sister Nangila, and after a couple of days, he came with his sister Joanne. And at that point, Kubende started processing visas for the sister to come to the US. I know Nangila's passport was expired. He was able to go renew the passport, which he was really boasting about. He did it in about 2 hours. They renewed the passport, and through whatever process that he went through, he was able to secure a visa for the sister. So on the 24th or 26th of January, I'm not wrong, the sister arrived in California. They did request me whether I could house the sister. I did not have a problem. The sister arrived in California. I picked Nangila myself from the airport. Nangila stayed with me for 5 weeks, from the 24th of January to the 6th of March, during which period I had tried to get her something to do. I myself bought her books because we started now preparing for her to do the nursing entrance exam. That said, after a couple of people, apparently he was able to secure some documentation that people needed to travel abroad. He did get for a couple of people, that was confirmed, and at some point he asked me whether he could also help one of my relatives, and I said, you know what, that is a good deal. He sent us the whatever he needed, we gave him whatever he needed, and around the 15th he took the documents from our relatives and submitted them. And we were now waiting for these documents to come back. The documents went in on the 17th. Took a car, almost 4 days. We were waiting for these documents to come back. They did not come back. A week went back to Kubende. I don't have a problem. I met them in December. They will come to my place. They visited. He invited me. I went to Kimilili. There was a soccer match playing. I gave out my, they asked me to be a guest of honor. I gave my donation just like you would give any donation to promote a young team. And that is how we collaborated. And then the sister came. I was able to help the sister to come out here. So if the sister was retrieved because Kubende, in his own way of what is going on, he felt like she'll be uncomfortable, I can understand that. But for it to be Nangila was mistreated, I think that is wrong at a very high level. This is a lady who came. She connected with my daughters. Until today, the girls keep on asking, how is Auntie Rachel? I told them, she lost her brother. How is Auntie Rachel? What is going on? They are so concerned about her. That is how we connected with Kubende's sister. So in terms of me saying you're supposed to come and marry me, kwani mimi ni kuku?
This is Ikue Ikue updates. Kama mbaya mbaya.
You just get married by anybody else, by anybody who comes through. And to the best of my knowledge, technically, he was a relative. He was a relative, to the best of my knowledge. So this is so wrong. So I hope this put matter to rest. I can confirm that, maybe the relationship was not as rosy as it was supposed to be. Tulikuwa tumefika mwisho, tumemwitisha vitabu, sasa akatuonyesha madharau na ikafika mahali tukawachana naye. So that's all I'm going to say about this. And I'm not going to address this issue again. And this is just so wrong. Whatever is being perpetuated, I've got nothing to gain by sending anybody, whatever it is, to go kill Kubende. Why would I benefit from him? I've got nothing to gain. I've never killed anybody. I am not trying to kill anybody. And I had to address this for the sake of family, for the sake of friends, for the sake of my friends who are being harassed because they think I had something to do with this. So that is so wrong. So our issue was that he did not come through for a process that he had promised us. And because we were calling him all the time, trying to follow through, this is how this became a problem. And the last time I talked to him was actually on the 15th. I think the 15th or the 16th of March. After that, I never ever talked to Kubende again until when I heard that he had been, he had committed suicide. So whatever the reasons were, I've had so many stories. I've had so many other issues. I've had so many complaints of other friends. I had tried not to talk about this. I had actually tried to let this guy just rest in peace. But unfortunately, sometimes you have to come out and talk. So, I mean, my apologies, my condolences to the family. I really think that this was unnecessary at some point. But you know what? We have to do what we gotta do. All right? Thank you. Gotta go. Beef that we had with Kubende, it is because at that point we were just trying to get passports back. Now, we don't know how he was going to process. We don't know what process he used to put the passports into American embassy. We don't know. Now, when Kubende came to America, he never came to California. So whatever job he was doing, as far as I'm concerned, I will talk on the deportation. In America, you just don't get deported like that. He went to the airport. If you are cleared and you come into the US, that's fine. If they must deport you, they must go through a legal regress. I spoke to Kubende. I was talking to him during that time because we were really getting pressure because the passports are not in there. And at some point, we actually checked the passports and noticed they had been rejected. Now, we were wondering, where the passports. So we kept on calling him, we were asking him. And he kept on treating us like children. Apana zinakuja. I've talked to my contact. So you can understand our angst. We are not getting this passport. When I spoke to Kubende around the 1st, akaniambia, what, I've decided to go to Kenya because I've decided to follow up this story myself. Tukamwambia, that is good. Hata nikamuliza, you just came the other day. How come you're just going? Akasema, hapana, this is important. Niko hata na passports za watu wengine nimeweka ndani. So, you know what? Let me go back. He went back to Kenya. When he went to Kenya, he went mute. We tried calling him. We were leaving messages. Nothing. I sent my relative, the one whose passport alikuwa amechukua, and he started threatening us. Oh, you don't know me, you don't know what I'll do to you people. Tukasema tu ni sawa. Where we have reached, sisi pale tumefika, we are going to now take it upon ourselves to try and retrieve the passports. And that was my last message to him on the 15th. I last talked to Kubende on the 15th, and I never heard from him again until I got a message that he had committed suicide on the 23rd. Okay? And this Sam who called from Seattle, I've never met him, I don't know him, but I hear from a reliable source that even his own wife is one of the people whose passports are stuck at the American embassy right now as we speak. So for us, sisi Kubende alitukosea, alichukua vitabu, we don't know how he processed them, and people were so scared, they did not know his process, they didn't know whether they were in trouble, and that is where me and Kubende had an issue. In terms of Miss ati Kubende yako kuja kwangu wako anataka kunioa, that is all broke up. That is all broke up. Because if he was supposed to come to California, why didn't he come to California? He would have come if he wanted. But the thing is, I was already helping his sister. I had put the sister in my house. I was already helping his sister. So this is just nonsense. And I'm so disappointed because all this time, I have not been talking because my priority was to protect the people that I thought were affected by this thing.
This is Ikue Updates. Kama mbaya, mbaya.
For these documents to come back. The documents went in on the 17th. Tukaka, almost 4 days, we were waiting for these documents to come back. They did not come back. A week went by, 2 weeks went by. Now we started calling Kubende. We kept on asking him what's going on. He kept on lying to us. Zinatoka Monday, hazitoki. Zinatoka Thursday, hazitoki. Meanwhile, during that time, Kubende also received paperwork from other people. He was charging 170,000 shillings for each documentation. Now, do we know the process that he used to get the visas for people? We don't know. But that's how much he was charging. I know so many people today whose passports are stuck. Where he put them, how he put them, we are still looking for them. We have not found them. And the beef between me and Kubende, it is because he was paid for a service. These passports went to the American embassy, and for some reason, those passports have never come back until today. And I'm so pissed off that this came out, that me, for some reason, I wanted him to come to California. There is no way I would have, number one, even refused to support him if at all. We are Kenyans. Whenever somebody comes to America, we support. Unafungulia watu mlango, unawasaidia, they settle in. At the time that Kubende was coming, the sister was already in my house. I've got a 4-bedroom house. 2 daughters. She took the guest room I've got, so there would have been no space, for him, even if he wanted to come. Okay? So this bullshit of, oh, sijui nilitesa sister, she stayed with me for 4 days. No, for almost 5 weeks. Wore my clothes. She did not bring her own clothes. When she left to go to California, she was actually wearing a pair of shoe and clothes. And that's why I'm so pissed off. Sasa mtu akisema sijui ati ulitesa Nangila. How did I tesa Nangila? So the bottom line is, Kubende took money. Aliambia watu is going to get them passports to America, and those passports never came back. And the beef that we had with Kubende, it is because at that point, we were just trying to get passports back. Now, we don't know how he was going to process. We don't know what process he used to put the passports into American embassy. We don't know. Now, when Kubende came to America, he never came to California. So whatever job he was doing, as far as I'm concerned, I will talk on the deportation. In America, you just don't get deported like that. He went to the airport. If you are cleared and you come into the US, that's fine. If they must deport you, they must go through a legal regress. I spoke to Kubende. I was talking to him during that time because we were really getting pressure because the passports are not in there. And at some point, we actually checked the passports and noticed they had been rejected. Now, we were wondering, where are the passports? So we kept on calling him, we were asking him. And he kept on treating us like children. Apana zinakuja. I've talked to my contact. So you can understand our angst. We are not getting this passport.
Kama mbaya.
And finally, I'm going to address the international job issue. Kubende did not have an international job. He did not have an international assignment. Kubende came to America to survive just like anybody else who comes to America to try and start a new life. He did not have a job. He did not have any connection in Rwanda that I am aware that he was actually going to. Okay? So there's nothing like, he was coming to America and somebody hacked him up because, he had gotten a job. There's nothing like that. Kubende had come to survive. And the last time I had him talk to his sister about the job, it was a caregiving job. He was going to work in an old people home. Those were the words that he actually told the sister. So you're supposed to come and train and start as a caregiver. Caregivers ni wale watu wanasaidia watu kuosha, wapewe chakula, wanawasaidia with the activities of daily living. So this international job nonsense, that wasn't there. And he wasn't going to Rwanda either, at least to the best of my knowledge. Or maybe I did not know him so well to actually know if there was anything in Rwanda or, whatever was going through. And I did not sponsor him. I did not send him a ticket. I did not pay for any part of his trip, whether to America, from America, or back to America. I was not involved in any way financially in this situation. Thank you.
Kuanzia leo ikue hivyo na ikue.